On his 52nd birthday, Marcus Collins didn't get a cake. He got a cardboard box. After giving 20 years of his life and generating 40% of the firm's revenue, he was fired, replaced by a fraud in a designer suit who stole his work. They thought he was just a quiet old accountant who would fade away. They were wrong. This is the story of how one man systematically took down a corrupt empire without throwing a single punch. March 14, 2024, Chicago. Marcus walked into Whitfield & Associates carrying donuts for his team. It was his birthday, 52 years old. His wife Patricia had made French toast that morning and kissed him goodbye. "52 looks good on you," she'd said. The elevator opened on the 34th floor. Something felt wrong immediately. Colleagues avoided eye contact. His assistant Linda looked like she'd been crying. "Marcus," she whispered, "I'm so sorry." Before he could ask why, his phone buzzed. Calendar reminder. 9 a.m. Meeting with HR. Conference room 12A. The room was small and windowless. HR sat on one side. Bradley West sat on the other. Bradley was 38. Wharton MBA. He'd arrived 18 months ago and climbed to junior partner in record time. Not through skill, through politics, and through stealing other people's work. "Your role has been eliminated effective immediately," HR announced. Marcus sat still. "My role, that I've held for 20 years. That generates 40% of the firm's small business revenue." Bradley leaned forward with fake concern. "Business needs change, Marcus. We're moving in a direction that requires different capabilities." "What direction?" "That's above your pay grade." HR slid a folder across the table. 16 weeks severance, sign by end of day. Marcus looked at the client list they handed him. Every relationship he'd built. Every business owner who trusted him. All of it now belonged to the man who'd stolen his work. He could have made a scene. Instead, he stood up, straightened his tie, looked Bradley in the eye. "Henderson's quarterly filing is due in 6 days. Folder 47A. Maria Santos at Sunrise Bakery needs a call tomorrow about her expansion loan. She's nervous. Be patient." He picked up the folder. "I'll sign by noon." He walked out with his head high. Security was already waiting with an empty box. 20 years. Packed into cardboard. He looked at his father's silver watch. 9:47 a.m. His birthday. The day everything changed. 3 weeks later, Marcus was a ghost of himself. Unshaven, drinking bourbon after lunch, applying for jobs that felt like insults. $80,000 roles. Contract positions. One interviewer looked at his resume and he could see it in her eyes. Too old. Too expensive. He was sitting in the dark when Patricia came home from her nursing shift. "You're not the man I married," she said. He flinched. "The man I married would be fixing this, not hiding." She sat next to him. "You," said Bradley's done this before. Diane Chen. Remember? Diane had left the firm 2 years ago. Officially, she'd pursued other opportunities, but there'd been rumors. "Find her," Patricia said. "Talk to her, 'cause I bet you're not the only one." The next day, Marcus sent a LinkedIn message. Diane's response came in minutes. "I've been waiting for this call for 2 years. They met at a coffee shop far from downtown. Diane looked different, nervous, checking the door every time someone walked in. "I kept everything," she said, sliding a thick folder across the table. "Every email, every document. Sound familiar?" Marcus opened it. The first page was an email from Bradley. "Performance concerns. Diane Chen." The language was identical to what they'd used on him. "How many others?" he asked. 7 victims over 4 years, all high performers, all pushed out after Bradley took credit for their work. She leaned forward. But here's the thing. The credit stealing is just the surface. Have you ever wondered how Bradley affords that lifestyle? The $6,500 condo, the BMW, the watch collection? Family money. His family's broke, I checked. His father's firm went bankrupt. There is no family money. Then where's it coming from? That's what I need your help to find out. Elena Martinez called that same night, another former Whitfield employee. She had her own tax practice now in Evanston. I've got documents Bradley doesn't know exist, she said. What I have could send him to prison. The 3 of them met the next day. Elena pulled up a spreadsheet on her laptop. Red highlights everywhere. Client retainer funds, moved in ways that don't match billing, small amounts. $500 here, $200 there, always small enough to miss. Moved where? Marcus asked. That's what I tried to find out. But every time I got close, my access got cut. She zoomed out to show the total. $847,623. And that's just what I can prove, Elena said. Every transaction traces back to one person. She didn't need to say the name. Marcus couldn't sleep that night. He was cross-referencing Elena's spreadsheet with his own calendar when one transaction jumped out. $12,847 on November 17th. He remembered that date. Henderson Manufacturing closing dinner. Bradley had expensed a $2,400 dinner at Gibson's. The other $10,447 went somewhere else. He traced the routing code. Cayman Islands. His hands started shaking. He called Elena at 11 p.m. Check transaction 247, November 17th. Silence. Then, Marcus, this is federal. This is SEC. If Bradley finds out we have this, he won't. Not until we're ready. Marcus turned his daughter's old bedroom into a war room. Printouts covered the walls. String connected the dots. The picture that emerged was devastating. Bradley had arrived at Whitfield with a plan. Target high performers, steal their credit, push them out with fake performance issues, absorb their clients, skim from retainer accounts, hide the money offshore. 8 victims, $1.2 million in suspicious transactions, $400,000 traced to offshore accounts. On April 10th, 8 people gathered in Elena's office, 7 women and Marcus. All with the same story. All ready to fight. We've got 2 options, Marcus said. Go after this alone and get picked off one by one, or hit him from every direction at once. Legal, regulatory, media, all at the same time. They voted unanimously for the coordinated attack. 1 week later, a threatening letter arrived at Marcus's home. Whitfield letterhead, signed by Bradley himself. Any attempt to interfere with firm operations will result in immediate legal action, including recovery of all severance payments. Patricia's face went pale. He knows. Marcus laughed. He suspects. He doesn't know. And he just made a mistake. What mistake? He signed it himself. If he knew what we had, this letter would be from lawyers, not from him. This is panic. So what now? We speed up the timeline. Time to talk to Gerald Whitfield. Gerald was the founding partner, 68 years old. He'd hired Marcus 20 years ago. He'd done nothing when Marcus reported Bradley's behavior. They met at Gerald's private club. Dark wood, leather chairs, old money. Gerald's hands shook as he read through the evidence, spreadsheets, offshore accounts, the pattern of victims. His scotch sat untouched. This can't be right. Bradley was vetted. His family's broke. His credentials are inflated. His references were friends of his uncle. Marcus kept his voice steady. I reported this to you 14 months ago. You told me to find a way to work with him. Gerald flinched. I thought you were being territorial. I was wrong. His voice cracked. What do you need from me? Your testimony. And your cooperation. You have it. The pieces moved into position. April 15th. Marcus filed paperwork for Collins Consulting. Elena and Diane joined as partners. April 28th. An anonymous package arrived at the Chicago Tribune. James Okonkwo was an investigative journalist with a reputation for careful, devastating work. The package contained spreadsheets, a summary document, and a burner phone. He called that night. Why anonymous? Because powerful people bury things. I need you to verify independently and coordinate timing with other parties taking action. What other parties? The State CPA Board, the SEC, and the firm's founding partner. This sounds coordinated. It is. It's the only way to make sure a powerful person faces consequences. May the 1st. The State CPA Board opened its investigation. 8 former employees filed jointly. Gerald Whitfield submitted a supporting statement. May 3rd. Letters went to 47 clients, carefully worded, legally reviewed. We have documented evidence of systematic irregularities in client fund management. We believe you have a right to know. Within 1 week, 31 requested audits. 12 transferred to Collins Consulting. Bradley's empire was crumbling. He didn't even know it yet. The Tribune story dropped at 6 a.m. on a Wednesday. Chicago accounting firm partner accused of systematic fraud. The article named Bradley directly. Offshore accounts. 8 victims. Gerald Whitfield's statement in full. 12,000 shares by noon. The website crashed twice. By 2 p.m., Bradley was on administrative leave. By 5 p.m., his lawyers dropped him. By 9 p.m., 3 more clients filed complaints. 2 days later, his wife filed for divorce. She'd found the hidden assets. Day 3. Eviction notice. His rental application had been fraudulent. 72 hours. Everything gone. But there was one more confrontation. Bradley showed up at Marcus's new office on Michigan Avenue. Wrinkled suit, bloodshot eyes, unshaven. You did this, he said. You destroyed my life. Marcus set down his coffee. No, I documented what you did. The destruction was your own work. I had everything. I was going to run that firm. You were going to keep stealing. That's different. Bradley stepped closer, hands shaking. You think you're better than me? You're just an accountant, a nobody. You stole credit for other people's work. You stole money from clients who trusted you. You destroyed 8 careers to cover your own incompetence. Marcus stood. And now you face consequences. I've got lawyers, connections. Your lawyers dropped you. Your connections are running. The SEC doesn't care about connections. Marcus walked to the door. You should go. There's nothing here for you. Something dangerous flickered in Bradley's eyes. Then his shoulders slumped. You've ruined me. No. You ruined yourself. I just made sure everyone knew. Bradley left without another word. Marcus watched him go, waiting for satisfaction that never came. What he felt was exhaustion, relief, and grief for years he'd never get back. Then he went back to work. 6 months later, Collins Consulting. 2 floors in the Aon Center, corner office with a lake view. Diane ran operations. Elena ran the tax practice. They'd hired 12 people. Revenue was on track for $3.2 million. 47 clients had followed Marcus from Whitfield. 30 more came through referrals. The SEC fined Bradley $1.2 million. Permanent ban from the industry. The state board revoked his license, criminal charges pending. But that wasn't what mattered. What mattered was 8 women finally had their stories validated. What mattered was Whitfield had to change. What mattered was future employees would work in a different culture. What mattered was Marcus refused to disappear. Gerald Whitfield came to visit in December. He looked older, smaller. "I owed you this," he said. "When you came to me with concerns, I didn't listen. I was wrong. I'm sorry." Marcus was quiet for a moment. "I accept your apology." Gerald extended his hand. "For what it's worth, I'm proud of what you've built." After he left, Marcus sat alone watching the winter light fade over Lake Michigan. 9 months since the firing. 9 months of anger, investigation, and building something new. He'd lost 20 years of loyalty, the certainty that hard work gets rewarded. But he'd gained something too. A company of his own. A team that believed in him. A reputation that couldn't be stolen. His father had told him 2 things. Be so good they can't ignore you. And always do the right thing, even when no one's watching. For 20 years, Marcus followed that advice and got betrayed. But he kept following it anyway. He built a case instead of making a scene. He gathered allies instead of going alone. He documented everything. And in the end, the system bent to fit the truth he'd assembled. The sun was setting over Chicago. Patricia would be waiting with dinner. Tomorrow would bring new clients, new challenges, new opportunities. He touched his father's watch one more time. "I made it, Dad. Different than I planned. But I made it." Marcus Collins, age 53, walked into his future with his head high and his hands steady. Some betrayals break you, others make you. This one made him. If you enjoyed this story, hit that like button and drop a comment. And if you haven't subscribed yet, now's a good time. Hit the bell so you don't miss the next one. Thanks for watching.